Hello, my name is Jessica Crouch, and I will be going over the Urban Sustainability Plan for Frederick County. I'll start by giving you some background on Frederick County, the population, the demographics, etc. Then I'll move on and show you who was consulted in writing the plan. Finally, I'll briefly summarize the plan's main action points and what I believe can be done to improve the language or the priorities of the Urban Sustainability Action Plan. And I'll end with answering the question, is this plan more adaptive than mitigative, as we defined in class, and is it resilient? So, what is Frederick County? Frederick County, shown on the left of the metropolitan area of the map here in orange, is one of Maryland's largest counties by landmass. It covers about 660 square miles, which is roughly 6.8% of the entirety of Maryland. It is also a highly populated county with 244,000 citizens, roughly 4.1% of the Maryland population. Frederick is a wealthy county. The average income per household is $85,000, higher than the average income per household in Maryland, which is $73,000, and much higher than the United States average, which is around $52,000 a year. So who lives in Frederick County? Well, the predominant age group is middle-aged, that is 18 to 65 years old at 63.4%. The under 18-year-olds are the second largest group at 24.1%, with senior citizens 65 years old and above rounding out the last 12.5. Frederick is a predominantly Caucasian area, with 76.5% of the population identifying as solely white in the 2014 census. To summarize, Frederick County is a very white, affluent area. Now let's talk about the writers of the Urban Sustainability Plan. The Urban Sustainability Plan was put into effect in 2011 and written by 32 people from 23 different organizations. Here we can see a list of all the organizations consulted. If we take a closer look at this list and think about the three pillars of sustainability, social, economic, and environmental, we can notice two important trends. First, only two of the groups listed are actually based around environmental well-being, those being animal control and parks and recreation. This surprised me, and we can already see that the sustainability plan is probably more urban than environmentally friendly. Actually, the list is greatly skewed towards groups whose main goals are social. Second, a majority of the groups listed are public sectors of the county government. Now, this is a good sign, as these programs were created with the sole purpose of helping citizens. However, as we discussed in class, we need equal representation across all parties, including businesses and other non-government organizations, and also including citizens, to achieve a realistic sustainability plan. Alright, now I'm going to summarize the plan. There are 7 main points with their individual goals listed here. I've divided them into the pillars that I think they most represent, and on the surface, we seem to have an equal spread. However, let's take a closer look. Pretty much all of these goals are attained by changes to the county's spending. For example, we can see in the social section that choosing transportation alternatives includes paying for newer, greener technology for the Frederick County transportation vehicles. We can also see in the environmental section that conserving energy and reducing emissions probably isn't possible without an economic incentive. These goals reflect faith in a top-down model. By focusing on the public sector's economic pillar, the money and practices employed by the government will trickle down to the citizens and incentivize them to switch to greener lifestyles, in theory. For example, the green purchasing employed by the county would economically benefit local green businesses who contract with the government, and the increase in transportation alternatives would benefit all citizens, not just employees of the county. So, is this plan mitigative or adaptive? This plan is 100% mitigative, right? All of these provisions talk about reducing or creating greener spaces or even updating recycling methods, rather than dealing with the recyclables we have right now or how to deal with our climate changes that are currently happening. Now, is this plan resilient? Well, we defined resiliency in class as the capacity of a system to absorb disturbance and still retain its basic function and structure. So in a word, no, the plan is not resilient. I have faith that if Frederick County were to experience a climate disturbance, it could bounce back because of the existing green infrastructure noted in the action plan and the average wealth of the area. The disturbance that I am most concerned with is immigration, or people leaving, which this plan has no provisions for. If our population were to leave after a disturbance, local business would crash, and sustainable initiatives such as farmers markets and money to preserve national parks frequented by the locals would diminish. If Frederick County were to invest in more local business instead of just government economics, then we would have a better chance of retaining the population after a disturbance. Final thoughts? The plan is skewed heavily towards changing the government's economy. The top-down model ignores the social and environmental pillars, which jeopardizes their success. Frederick County Sustainable Action Plan for county operations needs to broaden their definition of county operations to include all different sectors and actors. The current top-down model focuses on the county government and excludes the local business, grassroots movements, and citizens such that the plan's benefits do not reach the most important bottom level of sustainability, the average person. I myself am looking into getting more involved by going to public forums, so the government will hopefully start to include more citizens, such as myself. But to really reach the average person, Frederick County should start by investing in local green technology businesses, or even starting a group for local beautification, creating space for more farmers markets, and investing in more adaptive measures, such as starting to build an agricultural surplus, just as a few examples.